The new 2019 CRF250F is the replacement for the 230F, which has been going since 2002. How well does it compare to its predecessor, and how does it perform its intended use as a trail bike? Change from an under-square engine to an over-square, meaning the bore is bigger than the stroke, traditionally lending itself to a more rev-happy engine. As well as going from a 2-valve to a 4-valve, this engine has a lot more top end, while the overall bigger displacement and higher compression ratio means it doesn't lose out to the 230 in the low end either. Combined with a very solid crankshaft, this engine just lugs up whatever you point it at. Honda have also gone to fuel injection, meaning no need to rejet for different altitudes and easy starting after a prolonged period of time on its side. Of course, the downside to this is the inability to do your own tuning at home. They've also decided to drop a gear and go down to a 5-speed on the 250. And if you've read anything on any forums about people's thoughts on this, it seems to be a crime punishable by death. I disagree. I think having a wider ratio in each gear really plays to the strengths of this engine. Let me just say, if you're spending a lot of time in top gear, be it 5th or 6th, on a 250F or a 230F, you've got the wrong bike. On this tractor-like engine, you don't want to have to change gears. You want to use the fact that it produces a nice linear power curve from idle to redline. The next big upgrade over the 230 are the front forks. Going from a 37mm to 41 means a couple of things. The obvious one is there is going to be less flex and better function overall. The other less obvious and unintentional effect is the ability to easily swap in XR250 front forks. This is huge. The ability to go from 8.5 to 11 inches of travel is going to make a massive difference to the potential buyers. People have been crying out for a modern XR250 since it ceased production, and while in a stock form it's not quite at the same level, with a few simple mods it becomes an XR with a magic button. The rear suspension specs, as far as travel is concerned, are unchanged from the 230, but it does have a longer swing arm and may be a tad firmer, which is great for a big guy like me, weighing at 210 pounds. Theoretically, this longer swing arm should make it better for high speed or rough terrain. My skill levels isn't the limiting factor here, so I'm unable and unwilling to really test this out too much. What the longer swing arm will allow, however, is a better ability to lift the bike and offer itself to mods for increasing the rear travel. The geometry has also changed. They've made the bike a bit longer overall, but the steering responsiveness is still great. Still really at home on the tight single track. Another enhancement that was a long time coming is the rear disc brake. While some may argue it doesn't offer any real performance gain while increasing the risk of damage in the form of a bent rotor, it does mean you'll still have rear brakes if you go through some water or down a long decline. Now all these things don't come for free. This bike weighing in at about 15 pounds heavier than a 230, at 265 pounds wet or 248 dry, as measured by rickramsey.net. I'll put a link below for his website, which is full of great info. Do you notice every single one of those 260 pounds? Not really. On the few times I've dropped the bike, it was easy to pick up, thanks to a lot of the weight being nice and low, like that big ass crankshaft. So overall, how does this bike handle the trails? Well, keep in mind that that's all it was designed for. It's not a speed demon and isn't made for motocross tracks. It's made for trundling through tight single tracks and clawing its way up hills. As soon as you come to an open or straight piece of the trail, your mates on their Huskies and KTMs will fly past you. It's not all bad news though. This is a very easy bike to ride, comfortable to sit on, and makes tractoring up hills a breeze. Despite its weight and limited travel suspension, I have a ball heading up rocky hill climbs and down the descents. The low C of G helps keep the bike stable, and even when skipping around underneath, you still feel in complete control. And if you're wondering why I keep referencing the XR250, That's because I believe they've really used the same design philosophy with the 250F. This bike is for the person who wants to just put fuel in and go. Top end overhaul isn't even listed in the maintenance schedule, which means Honda has confidence in this little engine lasting, and we won't have a repeat of the 250X and how they eat the valves for breakfast, obviously sacrificing performance for reliability. But this is all just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments below.